Look, I like to try to make content every so often for people that are new to collecting. Maybe there's some of you in the chat tonight. Of course, if you are relatively new, drop a comment below letting us know like what got you into Hot Toys, what made you Hot Toys curious, and what you're exploring as far as your collection. So I want to ask the question. So Kiko, how can someone determine if Hot Toys is for them? Because I think there's a lot of people who may stumble upon this live stream or may stumble upon this video or Hot Toys in general, and they're wondering like, those are kind of expensive, but I'm really interested. Is this for me? Like, do I want to go down this rabbit hole? I mean, what do you think, Kiko? I mean, how do you think it impacted your decision when you started? Like, what factors were you looking at?
It's not what I think, Will. It's what I know.
Oh, it's what okay.
Yeah.
I love it.
When I was your age, it's when you hold one in your hand for the first time. That's exactly what it is. That you can see photos forever. You can watch streams. You can watch videos. You can even go to the store and maybe even see one in your comic shop. But when you hold one, that's when the game changed. And that's what got me completely invested, because I told you, and if you've ever known my story on Instagram and collecting, is that I collected Black Series Marvel Legends forever, and I did toy photography with them. And then I started finding out about like, wow, these head sculpts aren't great. But then I started seeing things about SH Figure Arts because they had better like head sculpts. Mesco had better head sculpts, had some things like that. But then I started seeing these things called Hot Toys. And then I did a little bit of digging, and I was like, at this time, $220 for a figure? Forget this. Absolutely not. I'm going to go and spend $220 on some mid Marvel Legends wave. That's different. And take my Serpent Society with me. That's going to be awesome. So, but then when I went to Rick's Comic City in Nashville here, we went there before. Will, I took you there.
Dude,
Rick's Comic City.
Yeah,
and that's where I held my first hot toy that I ever ended up buying was Deadpool. And I said, there's something, the detail's incredible. Feeling it feels real, as in not like a piece of shit, not like a little cheap piece of plastic. And there are some out there, some of the older ones that are kind of cheap. But you could feel it, that it was legit. And you start moving it around, posing a little bit. You see what all comes in the box, the accessories, and you're like, yep, that's it. Deadpool 2-1. And I said, that's going to be my first hot toy. And then obviously a few more later, that's what I did. But I think in order to know if it's for you is that you got to get the interest, you got to get the itch. And if you have the opportunity to feel one in your hand, then you'll know. But until you actually have one, I don't think you can make an honest assessment for it. And before you even, I'm not going to steal all your thunder, Will, on different videos you made. Don't just go like balls deep on pre-orders when you've never even had one. You need to hold one and see one. So get one in your collection, hold it and see if it's it for you. And if not, at worst, take a loss, a few $20-$30 or so, sell it, get it out, and move on to the next thing. At least but you got to hold one.
But I think you're right, Kiko. Like the first one you should buy should probably be one that's in stock or that another collector is selling or something. Because then you, like you said, you can hold one in your hand and then make informed decisions from there. For me, the first one I bought, I always say this, was Kylo Ren, The Force Awakens Kylo Ren. And the reason I bought it was not because of Hot Toys necessarily. It's because I loved Kylo and I knew about Hot Toys and I knew they were great. And I kind of wanted to explore it. And I was like, I really want to try getting this Kylo Ren figure, because the guy was selling it for like $120. And I knew, I wasn't even following Hot Toys at the time. I was like, that's a pretty good deal. I'm going to jump on this. So I did, and I got it. I loved it. And then before long, I always tell the story, I had Darth Maul in pre-order, and I had Doctor Strange and Thanos and Infinity War Thor. And then I started buying Loki and other stuff that I ended up getting. But yeah, I mean, it's you got to get that one in your hand and know it's truly for you. And you got it. It's a leap of faith. Like Kiko was saying, it's a leap, like in Spider-Verse, it's a leap of faith. You're never going to know for sure. You got to try one if you're interested, see whether you like it, and then go from there. But don't go balls deep before you know. Dean, what do you think, bro? I mean, what about you? What got you into Hot Toys, and what do you think really just makes or breaks whether people are going to like the hobby or not?
Yeah, I have a very actually similar story with to Kiko. I got into collecting pretty late. I would say maybe I've always collected toys, especially like Star Wars 3 3/4 inch and stuff. But then I was in high school, I was playing football, and then I started college and I stopped collecting, And it wasn't until like 2015, my buddy, he knew I liked Boba Fett. And he added me to this Facebook group that is a local group that does buy, sell, trade toys. And somebody put a Black Series list. I had never seen Black Series. before. It wasn't out when I stopped collecting, and it was they had the Boba Fett there. I was like, man, that's badass. So I bought like this lot of used Black Series figures, and then I was like, these are badass. And so I started buying every Black Series figure I could find, and then before I knew it, I'd caught up on all of them. And so I was kind of at this like I was stuck in the rut with collecting. I was like, well, what do I buy now? Like, and I just so happened to go to a comic book store. I think it was Labor Day, and they had granted this was the Sideshow Boba Fett, but the 2.0. And I was like, bro, this is cool. So I bought it. It was like $160 or something like that. And in the same group, Zach was there, my podcast partner, and very shortly after I got the Boba Fett, I met him, and he had the Hot Toys Return of the Jedi Boba Fett, and he had kit bashed a Vader with like all sorts of different Vader parts. And I went over to his house, and I was like, holy shit, like I've just scratched the surface of 6-scale collecting. Because like I said, he had a kit bash Vader, so that's like it was like 8 different Vaders that he had put all together. By this time it was like, I don't know, 2017 or something. And my first Hot Toys was, I want to say, the Sideshow, or I'm sorry, the Sand Trooper A New Hope Hot Toys, which I have said it, I think on here before, I think that's one of the greatest Hot Toys ever released.
I remember I was like, what the fuck, dude?
I mean, that figure comes with so much stuff. It's accurate as hell. It's a banger. And it really is night and day, like handling a Sideshow figure versus a Hot Toys. I mean, the body is like stiff. It doesn't flop around. My Boba Fett, the hands don't even stay in the fucking arm pegs, you know? But the Hot Toys, I mean, those are solid. So I just started buying Hot Toys, dude. Before I knew it, I had like 100 something of them.
That's how it happens.
But yeah, it's when you get it in hand. It's like graded comic books. Like until you hold a slab, you just don't get it.
Right.
It's like, why would you want a graded comic book? Like you can't read it. That's kind of silly. And then you get one, you're like, oh my God, this is fucking sweet.
Well, that's how it is with anything you collecting. You know what I mean? Because I've been on an art print kick. Like when you buy that first art print and you're like, this is fucking cool. And then you get it framed. It's expensive, but you're like, this is fucking cool and looks classy as hell. And then you just kind of go down the rabbit hole. That's what happened with Hot Toys. I mean, it happens with all 1/6 scale. And I think there are definitely gateway drugs. I mean, I think we all have pretty much been on the same page, like Kiko and you, Dean, as well. I started with Black Series. I started with Marvel Legends. I was collecting those. I had a whole display case and I had a bunch of them. And I started with those. And then I got the Kylo Ren and I was like, these are a piece of shit. I was like, that's pretty much what happened. I think that's what happens, right? You get that finer taste of the higher end. And then you're just like, man,
and then you do start justifying the cost.
Dude.
Honestly.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It only takes one, bro. It takes one.
I know, because
I bought the Pennywise half scale and I was like, I'll never spend $2,000 on a statue. Now it's like, yeah, I'll drop 2K. I'll drop 2K. Like
it's crazy how like the goalposts change, because originally you'd be like, I can't believe it. They raised the Marvel Legends price to $28. You're not even getting all the many accessories. But then you like say $200, $300 for a hot, no way. And now you're sitting there like $500 for an artisan figure. That's a steal. You know, it's just crazy like how we
condition ourselves.
And it technically is a steal though. Some people charge $500 just to
sure, yeah.
Right, exactly. It 100% is. And that's why I know people were saying that in the comments, like Gandalf is still a good deal. For a lot of people, it is. I mean, I think we've been
not
conditioned.
finding a custom piece better than
well,
that.
because when InArt originally dropped, Kiko, like all of us were kind of like, whoa, $550 for one figure. But now it's like we've kind of been conditioned, you know, with Hot Toys and with InArt, which kind of like $550. That's a good price. It is what it is, you know. And that just
this will be the definitive version. It's a buy nice, buy twice.
That's me, bro. You know, that's me, bro. That's what you got to do. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for contributing your thoughts on that one. Guys, let us know in the comments below your hot toy story and whether what do you think is important for beginner collectors or people joining or considering joining to know, because we want to, try to be as inclusive as we can be in that regard. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty cool. Guys, let's keep it rolling here. We got a couple more topics that we want to get into.